Hey everybody, welcome to CineFix Now. Dave Lacey and myself here to talk about the latest in Batman rumors, which happened this morning. Apparently Warner Brothers is rumored to be eyeing a 2019, that's, what is that, 5 years from now?
Yes.
Release of a movie called The Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Which is weird, because usually when they do The Batman, that's like the origin story of Batman, right? Like when they do in the cartoons and stuff. But yeah, this is going to be, what, the third movie as Ben Affleck?
It'll be 3 movies into Batfleck, because he's going to be in Dawn of Justice, he's going to be in Justice League, presumably. We know that Ben Affleck's deal calls for multiple movies of him being Batman, so it always stood to reason that they were going to do a standalone Batman movie.
Like, half of the point of getting Ben Affleck was he's like the grizzled, older Batman.
Right.
And now it's like, how many movies is it going to be Batman as the grizzled, older Batman?
Yeah.
It's like they didn't do a bunch of sequels to Unforgiven.
So many horrors to avenge. Anyway, back to Batman. So we may be looking at a standalone Batfleck movie coming up here in 4 or 5 years.
Now, you know, I think because they're doing this whole thing, I'm kind of hoping they'll maybe do like a Nightwing type thing, Robin Nightwing type thing. Like maybe he won't be Batman the entire time, or maybe they'll introduce like that character in this Batman movie. And also, I'm trying to figure out what story they're going to tell for his, like, first solo story.
Right.
I know for me, I like to see Hush. I think a lot of people would, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's such a great story, and, you know, it has a bunch of, like, great characters, and also I just think that that's a great villain for him to take on himself. You
know, it largely depends on what Dawn of Justice is, on what the Justice League movie is, and then that will inform you know, what type of solo movie, you know, we get with The Batman in 2019. The interesting thing, though, in talking about how he's supposed to be a grizzled old Batman, it would be really interesting if the first Batman standalone movie was Ben Affleck passing the torch to a younger Batman.
Yeah,
like, I was always a big fan of Batman Beyond.
Right, yeah,
like,
it's awesome,
and so
right?
something like that would be a lot of fun.
Luckily, there's so many different Robins, you know, throughout the universe. So
take your pick.
That is something, and people love Nightwing. Like, they love Nightwing. But you know, it's going to be interesting to see. I find it very interesting they're doing this. They're doing backwards from Marvel. You know, they're doing their big movies first, and then they're doing their solo spin-offs, which is almost, I guess, more traditional Hollywood when you really think about it, since Marvel did it different. But I also wonder if in this, you know, in these movies, they're also going to be. Are we going to see like Shazam first show up in like Justice League before he does his own movie, if, you know, we're to believe that he's going to have his own movie?
It feels like the way that they're jam-packing Dawn of Justice with everybody. You know, there's going to be 2.5 minutes of screen time for literally every DC character in the Dawn of Justice movie.
Red Tornado!
Here he comes. Oh, and there he goes. Doing any number of storylines with the Batman and with, you know, Dick Grayson or Jason Todd or whoever it happens to be. They're able to start a storyline in Dawn of Justice or Justice League and then resolve it with the Batman.
And maybe Aquaman will be in these movies.
Maybe.
Theoretically. Who knows?
We'll get Jason Mamoa Aquaman.
Exactly. The most confirmed, unconfirmed casting in the history of movies.
It's 100% fact. But it's not. It happens every time. And this Batman in 2019 movie is fact already. No, it's not fact. It's not fact. Hasn't happened yet.
You were discussing with me earlier the fact that it's crazy how we're just now like anticipating movies 4, 5, 10 years from now. How crazy that is.
We're looking at the comic book movie culture. One of the other side effects of it is that we're left looking ahead to, it's like, oh man, Avengers 4 is going to be great in 2022. It's like 8 years from now. Like, we're looking ahead at movie slates, you know, 8 years ago, and we've never done that before.
And I remember before the Avengers came out, a lot of people were like, is this superhero thing almost over yet? It can't go on much longer. And I feel like after Avengers came out, that it was like, it was done. It's going to be another, like, at least 10 years of movies like this, at least. Also, do you want to talk about Lex Luthor?
Lex Luthor's got some rumors coming out.
Yeah, one of them is like, everyone is always so fascinated about his hair.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most important thing about Lex Luthor, is he's got really awesome hair.
Well, and it is, like, as iconic as, you know, Superman's pose is. Like, that's how iconic Lex Luthor's bald head is.
Going on with this whole Mark Zuckerberg thing that basically everyone knows about. You know, they've been talking about LexCorp, and earlier there were rumors about how, like, people were seeing, like, hip 20-something, hipster type, you know, characters that are being
chugging
employed.
Monster energy drinks, you know.
And that's his thing. And apparently, like, they're saying his character is, like, he's just super rude to everybody because he knows he's a billionaire. He knows he's one of the most powerful people in the world. So, like, you know, there's, like, U.S. senators and congressmen going to visit him, and he's just really rude to them. And
just a
kind of a
slimy, evil dick of a businessman that we're, I think the quote that I read was like, you're really going to root for him to get punched in the face by Superman.
Exactly.
Lex's assistant is now rumored to be cast.
Yeah, it's going to be played by Dao Okamoto from The Wolverine.
Right.
who I thought was pretty good in that.
She was a badass chick in that too.
It's funny, that was like her first movie. She's like a model.
At least I'm glad to see that at least makes sense.
Yes.
To like because in the canon, in the books, like it's been established that this is Lex Luthor's personal assistant / bodyguard or whatever. I'm just glad it's not like Zatanna is all of a sudden his bodyguard personal assistant for some reason. So that's good news.
You have no idea how much I want Zatanna in one of these movies. She talks backwards. She pulls bunnies out of hats. She turns villains into bunnies. You can't go wrong.
And she's one of the few female comic book characters whose sexy outfit actually leaves a little something to the imagination.
Exactly, and it's part of...
I can appreciate that. I'm getting older now, and I can appreciate that.
And it's her work clothes too.
Exactly,
it's a magician outfit.
She's wearing that little tux with the fishnets. It's great.
She's a professional, okay?
So let us know what you think about all this DC, Warner Brothers, Batman, Zatanna, Aquaman, Lex Luthor, Mercy Graves, energy drink rumors. Let us know what you think about all of that stuff down in the comments below. Click like and subscribe. Come back next time for more movie news on CineFix Now, and we will see you then.
Any superhero with a top hat wins.
Automatically wins.
Done.
Contest over.
Who needs a cape when you got a top hat?
Exactly.
That's what Abe Lincoln said.